Hello, everyone. By everyone, I mean no one who's in here at the moment, but hopefully soon. Oh, two people. Jesus, you scared me. Oh my God. I just went live on YouTube, so.
We have dinner.
You have dinner already?
Yeah.
Like right now already?
My dad made the meat, so I didn't have to come home and do it.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, I still gotta stream for my viewers, so I'll be back in a little bit.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna drive around and find some palm stuff. You wanna say hi to them?
No.
Okay. Alright. Huh?
I need cigarettes. I have none.
Can
I
we
haven't
just?
had
Yeah, can we
I've
like
had
turn
three
this out?
all day.
I can hear. Hey Mike, how's it going? Alright, I guess I'll do that, but
Huh?
you're gonna pay me back for that? Because I don't. That's not
Yeah.
something that I fund. Okay. Alright.
Can you like go and then come back? Like
Yeah, I
now?
might be able to do that.
That would be great.
Okay. Make sure that my comforter is dry.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Oh, if you could be so nice as to take the ones with the seedlings in it, because it's gonna be 41 tonight or 42.
We have no more space.
Yeah, we do. There's always more space for plants. Is that right? All right. That was unexpected. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to. Hey, Mike. Hey, Brian. Hey, Stingray. And hey, it is 57 degrees, but it feels like it's going to get a lot colder. It's windy out. I don't have I just have the heat on. Oop, in the car. But I know you guys want to. I told you guys I was going live, and I'm not going to not go because I was supposed to pick them up actually, and they got picked up already. So I will be driving around a little bit and show you guys some palm stuff. I'm gonna make a little little block roundabout. I'm gonna go down to down what is considered downtown Cape Coral Parkway, and we'll talk a little bit. But let's see here. Okay, so 46. Well, it's not a whole lot cooler. Did you guys get that? Oh, I think it said Connecticut. It's 57 here, but it's supposed to get down to, I guess, at the 41 or 42. So 25 in Virginia. It's not too bad. Where is that in Virginia? Oh, my seatbelt is not on. Suffolk. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you definitely gotta have a better. Like I said, I think I told you that. I don't know. There was someone who was from Chesterfield County that I was talking. I don't know. That wasn't you though. I don't think. But I grew up in Richmond. I was there for 10 years, from 6 to 16. So I'm familiar with the climate, and now that Virginia Beach area definitely has a much milder. Well, not fairly. Definitely a different zone than Richmond. So, but yeah, 25 is not too bad for that area. I remember walking around at night in the winters, like in 8th grade, and back when you could walk outside at night and your parents didn't really care, but at that age, and it was yeah, Spanish moss is kind of the northernmost limit of Spanish moss is Virginia Beach, kind of like the Dismal Swamp area. So Spanish moss is actually in the Bromeliad. It's related to the pineapple, of all things. I feel like I'm getting brighted constantly by that car. But yeah, 10 people, man, this is good. Good stuff. It's only like not even 5 minutes in. I actually made 2 vlogs, and then I was gonna go pick them up, and then I guess Ashley's parents live down the street, so they went and picked them up. So this is more what I was intending on doing, is just doing the vlog while I was picking them up. So instead, we're just going to kind of go the route that I would have gone to pick them up. So yeah, I made 2 vlogs. They're not outside. It's dark and windy, and my vlogs suck in the cold. I mean, suck in the well. So. Yeah, it's getting chilly here too. We're getting that cold blast. It's unfortunate. We're gonna get like 5 days of weather that is really atypical of here, of like 10 to 15 degrees below normal, and that can really hurt coconuts when it's like 5 days worth, where it isn't gonna get above like 66. So, yeah, I know, Daniel. You're always there. You're there. I don't have to get in this lane. I'm used to turning on that. I'm gonna go to the old part of Cape Coral, a part you guys have not seen before, so you won't see the same stuff, so to speak. Cape Coral is pretty much just a grid of streets. So I live in the southeast Cape. There's 4 quadrants. The southeast Cape was the first part built, and so I'm gonna take you through some older neighborhoods. Oh yeah, Smithfield. That's like right there on the James, northwest of Suffolk, if I can remember. That's where the ham's made, obviously. It says okay. But so I live almost like in the center of the Cape, and then if you go to the northwest Cape, it's almost like a 5 degree difference. Cape Coral's geographically a fairly large city considering its actual size. It's probably bigger than Manhattan, I would say. It can take a half an hour to get across the city, but it's not like there aren't a million people here. It's about 185,000 people. This light takes forever. There we go. Hi, Daniel. Daniel, where do you hail from? Where are you from? Oh, gas went back down. So it's gonna happen. Brooklyn. I was born in Manhattan. I spent many days in Brooklyn with friends that went to school there. Mostly, I was more actually in Maspeth, but we would go across over to Brooklyn. It wasn't that far. Oh, was that one that froze up when I was in Wawa? This is Veterans Parkway. I don't know if you guys can see that on the video, but this didn't exist. Born and raised. West Coast, LBC, in the house. Nice. Brian, I didn't even know there was a lunar eclipse, but I'll definitely check it out. What time is it supposed to happen? But yeah, as far as my New York roots, I was born on the east side of Manhattan. And my parents moved to Connecticut for a little bit, and then we moved to White Plains, New York, Westchester County, and then I moved to Virginia, and then I moved back to Suffolk County. So, I had a number of friends went to college. Friends that went to John Jay, Fordham, NYU, Columbia. I'll have to check that out. It's gonna be cold and a bloody moon. Oh, so everybody knows about this except for me. I guess I just pay no attention to anything. You don't have to live in Florida to grow your favorite palms. If you have like a little porch, you want to heat it up, give it some humidity, you can grow almost anything. I mean, you can't grow like massive palms, but there's a lot of palms you can grow. Palm fronds can turn Xbox One on. I was moving. I touched the button. Oh wow, that's some magical powers there. Is it worth it? What do you mean? Is it worth being in Florida? Is it worth growing the palms? -1 Fahrenheit. That's a new record there. (9:36 p.m.) Okay, so I'll be back in time for that. if the person behind me doesn't. It's possible that the coconuts might suffer a lot from the cool weather. This cool weather, I don't think it's going to harm the palms, the coconuts here in south of the Peace River. But there's some coconuts, like say in Bradenton, Sarasota, St. Pete, it could definitely cause some problems, especially if there's a frost. And this guy really behind me is like right on my ass. I don't like that at all. Hold on one sec, guys. All right. I can't. I need to. Sorry, I gotta kind of make sure that I kind of get ahead of this guy here and get the guy behind me off my ass. So this is pretty palm line. Unfortunately, it's nighttime, but it is a holiday weekend, so I don't know. This guy right here coming up on my right. Sorry, I just want to focus on the road for a second. Oh, if he wants to get... This is the worst place to speed. There's cops out in the medians everywhere. Alright. My temperature now is 57, but it's dropping. What about the mule palm? Oh, it's grow hundreds of seeds I've collected from. So that's cool that you grow it there in Brooklyn. You know, I bet you there's some plant. I've actually delivered a palm to Brooklyn from down here when I drove to Shelter Island, where I graduated high school. I got off the BQE and I went up to this guy's apartment and just handed it to him. That was probably my longest distance palm delivery. So. Someone's selling you a mule for $2. How big is it? That's the question. If it's small, that's going to be a little pricey. If it's a 7-gallon or larger, that's going to be a 15-gallon. That's probably a decent deal. They're going to be cheaper here, but I know in California. Yeah, I would bring small coconuts inside. Even though it's less humidity inside. I would just do that just because you're probably going to get to, I imagine, mid to upper 30s tonight. And even though that won't, burn the plant, it'll definitely start sending it on a downward spiral. It could. I'm not saying it will. But, yeah, it's funny, Stingray, that people used to think that it was impossible to grow a dehusked coconut from seed. They thought it was impossible to grow a store-bought coconut, but as long as you put it in a sterile media, it's actually relatively easy. So, yeah, the more heat, the better with that. When I was in 7th grade, I was growing coconut in a bird of paradise in my house in Richmond, Virginia. So, 20-gallon, that's a good deal. I would definitely get that. California 20 gallons aren't the same size as Florida 20s, but see, it's a holiday weekend, so this is more like a Saturday night to us here. Yeah, I bet it does do pretty well indoors. It has very waxy leaves, which definitely benefit Man, that car is burning some oil. I can smell it. But yeah, the waxy leaves definitely help. You have calamus. That's interesting. You collected that in habitat because it's hard to find seed of calamus. And it's not a palm that a lot of people desire, as a landscape plant. In fact, it's almost unheard of. But I have friends that enjoy it. I would grow it myself if I had some trees for it to grow on. So right now we're kind of entering the downtown area of the Cape Coral Parkway. It's this is like the southeastern tip. This is the original part of the Cape. Oh, you have Desmonscus as well. Trachea outside and planted. Oh, nice. Store-bought coconut bag in half water with the eyes up. That's pretty cool. Nice. What type of lights? Any light's going to give a little bit of help. Just, it can be in the dark for a few days. It's not going to hurt it. But if you can put it in a bright area, the sunniest area, so like, south facing would be good. Still have some Christmas kind of lights going on here. I got to make sure I make the right turn. Yeah. I don't see why you couldn't grow that in Coir, Mercury. I've never tried it though. Is Elaeus oleifera cold hardy to 9B? That's, I don't know, but Elaeus guiensis is not. It's definitely a pollen where that experiences a frost. Everything gets frosted turns brown immediately. So oleifera might be more cold hardy. It's hard to say. I'm gonna guess that it's probably not, but we don't know, and you try. It's definitely much less grown than the African cousin. They planted a lot of new palms here. These are all Royals and Bismarcks that have been kind of staked up. I haven't really been down this way in some time. I don't really go down to the South Cape because there's nothing here that I usually. I just want to see if I miss my turn. I'm going over the bridge, so I don't really want to go over the bridge. Usually, Daniel, it's usually a question of moisture. I know that Western Australia has had an issue. Some other species like Livistona victoriae have had that problem as well. Sometimes, like with Livistonas, which are dioecious, there's a theory that they've been evolving from monoecious to dioecious. So there may be a lot of like males around or a lot of females and no males to pollinate them. That might be why they're not seeding. If that's if it's actually Livistonas you're talking about. So, but Daniel, that's the OG way to do it. Grow them from seed. There's nothing wrong with buying a nice specimen plant, but I need to turn here before something. All right, hold on a sec, guys. I am very lost now. All right, I gotta figure out what I did wrong here. So there's an old Model T. Okay, so I almost drove right over the bridge, which is what I said I didn't want to do. I saw the, okay. All right, there's Ford's garage. It's actually a restaurant. Pretty cool. It's for, it's named after Edison Ford. I saw the spiral and or whatever you want to call it, the obelisk. There we go. Yeah, Dylan, I've actually rode my motorcycle a couple of times down to Boca Grande, and I've driven down there a few times. Boca Grande has a very nice climate. It's a little bit mild, but nice. What? Asking about the frost? Dan, you were saying what can't handle the frost? Dipsis cancina for 190. Yeah, this is the problem in California. You're always going to pay more for plants, and the biggest Dipsis freaks are actually in California, which is fine. They're really hardcore Dipsis collectors. So if they say they couldn't find one anywhere and they just wanted one so bad, there's more money. That would not go for $190 in Florida. It's one of the benefits of in Florida. Just things tend to grow faster. There's actually less demand for Dipsis because Dipsis is more of a subtropical. Does better in like subtropical climates, or Mediterranean. And yes, the Chinese fan does grow better in shade, but it will grow in full sun just fine. Especially when younger, it's better in shade. Oh, so Coir does work. Okay. I'm sure you guys have a lot of that too up in the north. I would imagine that birds do eat sable miner seeds because they eat palmetto seeds all the time. I know that because when I park my truck at my sister's house, there's a palmetto that seeds overhead, and there's bird poop all over my truck when I leave. Not all over, but it's there. Yeah, so yeah, the birds will eat them. There's not much taste to them, but I guess birds just, I don't know. Anthony, I would say I would not. I mean, unless the inflorescence is ready to be cut off, the seeds are turning. Oh no! I forgot Ashley's cigarettes. She's freaking out on me. She's Nick fiending, even though she should have quit years ago. Gonna have to go over here to. So let's. Virginia, okay. Any good palm nurseries in Cape Coral? No, there's a couple landscape nurseries, but I love to open one up. It's very hard to find like the right kind of property, and I don't have any stock right now because I sold everything. There's some on Pine Island. Sandal? Outdoors? Oh, sable? Yeah, American oil palms. You're right, Daniel. Yeah, they're like they can come back from a lot of like freeze events, but when they do burn, they just fry. They look like they're dead, but they will come back most of the time from the bud. So, yeah, I mean, Florida's open for business. I know the rest of the U.S. is so cold. Yeah, it is nice. I kind of take it for granted getting to drive around. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Yeah, so you can cut off the stalks and kind of like let them sit there and just kind of, let them sit on the stalk for like a week or so. They're not gonna, rot out or anything. Sable seeds are pretty tough. There's that. What's it called? The carnival that I was gonna pick them up at. So Cape Coral goes down to about like 55th Street south, and then it goes all the way up to about 30th Street north. All right. Outdoors in Chicago will be quite the feat. We do have bats in Florida. Sometimes I don't realize it until they fly right past me. I would imagine, that bats could make a big mess. I could see them feeding on stuff like that. So I'm back at that racetrack that I went to before. This place isn't busier considering how many people are across the street. But I guess that's why they're hanging out across the street. Alright. Oh, God. How could I be so stupid? Alright, so I'm gonna have to get these and then head back to the house. Because she is freaking out. Alright, guys, I'll be right back. I'll leave it going. Ugh. At least if someone jumps in the car and runs away with it, it'll be recorded. It's actually not that bad out considering. I mean, it's supposed to drop 15 degrees from. Okay. All right, Daniel. See you later. You're in Amelia Island or Amelia, Virginia, or Amelia. I get confused. Yeah, Chris. There's some good acreage there. Please buy it because otherwise it's going to turn into a development. You probably know one of that guy there just bought himself a 4-pack of Natty Ice. Tall boys. He's going to have a good night tonight. Alright, so I didn't expect them to be home as soon as they were, or to even be home, so. Virginia, yeah, I know Amelia, that area. I had to go down there for some reason, I forget why. Okay, so the difference between a remote and an adjacent germinator is that for example, when you grow a sable, the root goes down, and then the first leaf, which strap leaf, will come up away from the seed. It won't be the leaf itself will not be attached to the seed. Where an adjacent germinator will put roots right out of the seed, growing, and then a spike will come up, and then it will open up a leaf directly from the seed instead of remotely away from the seed. I hope that was good enough. What's the most endangered palms in Florida? Like native? I mean, Pseudophoenix sargentii is pretty endangered. It only grows on one island. Sablemiamiensis is pretty much considered extinct in habitat. Maybe a couple plants out there. Yeah, I mean, usually I don't wear a t-shirt at 57 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about, 14 Celsius, something like that. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm a little upset about the weather that's upcoming because it's annoying for 5 days to not be able to kind of live the lifestyle that you live the rest of the year. What is going on here? Someone's not turning right. People. I kind of curved the edge here, silly. Palmettos are definitely not endangered, as you can see. Yeah, I've been to Canada twice. I've been to Montreal and I've been to Niagara, and both times were a lot of fun. I have some Canadian friends, and they know, when it's cold outside, how to, have fun indoors at least. So now I'm heading back west towards the middle of the city. Sorry, I was hoping to have a longer stream in this, but I knew it wasn't going to be like an hour because I knew I was going to have to pick them up and everything. But I would love to come down to Australia. I still have a fear of flying that happened after I've flown many places. I've been to Europe twice and many places around the U.S. It's just that I was in a plane that made an emergency landing in Washington D.C. one time. And it was like this pretty scary. It's kind of left me a little bit snake bitten, but I also have this odd hypersensitivity to altitude that I feel is a result of my neck pain from multiple vehicle accidents. You're right, I should take 2 Valium and just not care. Your phone's hit at 1% for 10 minutes. How much cold can a palmetto take? I'm not an expert on that, but I bet it can take 10 degrees repeatedly and probably low single digits once or twice. I could tell you more about Zone 10 palms and their cold hardiness. Yeah, I've probably flown 30 or 40 times. It's just that the last time that I flew was like very, very, it was, realistic how fast things go. And I was on a small plane. I was coming back from Greece, actually. It was a connector flight from New York City to DC, and I was going to, came back, and they flew through a thunderstorm when they probably shouldn't have, and they just wanted to get things, just want to get flights through. So yeah, I definitely will. I don't really know anyone in the area, but oh yeah, because you live in the town I can't, or near the town I can't pronounce, Mississauga. I'm guessing that's how that's. But yeah, I like Canada. I mean, I don't really like the climate, but I find I know a lot of Canadians actually from poker. It's funny because Canada actually produces a lot of very good poker players due to the fact that they still have online poker, and they when it's cold out and you can play poker indoors like that, you have return. Bob, I have some bad news. I'm going to be leaving the stream soon, but for the sake of not burning gas and killing the environment, I might try and leave the stream live for like another 5-10 minutes. I need to run this into Ashley. She did me a couple favors, so I hate doing this, but I got it, so it is Mississauga. Okay, I'm just gonna guess that was. Okay, that's fine. I'll be around for a few minutes. I'm just gonna, I don't want to like just burn gas just to burn it so I can hang out. My house is like just not suitable for viewing. It's okay. All right, so I finally got it. But yeah, I know people around that area from Niagara to Toronto for the poker world. A lot of them come down here in Florida for the winter months. There's more stuff going on outside, that sort of thing. Okay, so that is going to be, I know where that is. I've had to take things there, Mercury, so that's up in the northeast part of the town. I'm sure it'll show up tomorrow. So I'm back at the house. I'm just gonna honk because I don't do delivery. Oh, door delivery. Turn the car off here. I'm live on YouTube. Where's Mom?
In the house.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna hand these to you to hand to her. If you tell her if she wants her.
Oh, we're going over here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My shoes.
Hold on. Hold on a second. There's these emoticons from emojis. Yeah, Dylan. If you're in that area, Oh, it's getting windy and chilly. Oh boy. Sorry. I is that acceptable? I went to racetrack. What do you want me to do?
You were supposed to go there and come right back.
I know. I'm sorry. You have them now. Don't cry with a loaf of bread under your hand. Huh?
They make me cough.
Well, that's what cigarettes do, is they make you cough.
Oh, these ones really do.
What are you talking about? You used to have them all the time. I didn't know that. Jeez. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, hopefully this cold weather will pass by then, and it'll be good for landscaping. I've only been to West Palm. West Palm's a nice town. It's definitely it's a mid-size. It's got a lot. It's been still developing out west, and it's unfortunate. It's just creeping up in the Everglades. So, but yeah, yeah, James. My grandparents lived in Cocoa Beach they had a condo there for 20 years. About five complexes south of the pier. So I just walk there. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Port Charlotte. It has a cool climate. Hello.
Just give me the things.
No, I gave them to Mom already. One thing I'm not going to do is hand cigarettes to a 12-year-old. So, Kelly Slater. She's from. You talking about? Who is that? Sounds familiar. Yeah, so you saw the Singer Island. My mom visited there once with her boyfriend at the time. This is like about 9 years ago. It's a nice area. Unfortunately, if you go to the mainland part of that area, it's not as nice. It's actually where a lot of episodes of Cops were filmed. So, but yeah, I used to bodyboard a lot on Cocoa Beach and go to Ron John's. My grandparents lived at a complex called Chateau by the Sea. And you could it was like 100 yards to the. It was very ghetto off Singer Island. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah, it is. It's not a safe neighborhood. 11 times world champ. Oh, okay, gotcha. He's from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Melbourne, yuck. Melbourne, Florida. Oh yeah, now Melbourne's probably a better place. It's further away from the Cape, as far as like the way the waves break. I tried surfing one time, back in 2001, and the first wave I caught, I ate. The board went straight down, and then another surfer hit me right in the ear and cut like a part of my ear in half, and then I had to go to the hospital. So, that's why it sounds familiar. I'm not a surfing aficionado, but I have a lot of. You'd be surprised. A lot of the Palm people are surfers. So, San Sebastian. I'm assuming that's near. Oh, it's probably near Sebastian Inlet, I imagine. But I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes, and I'm gonna go inside. I'm getting kind of hungry, and hopefully Ashley will have calmed down from her Nick fiending. So. That's a good story, Bob. If you're talking about like a zone 10 climate, I mean, yeah, around Lake Okeechobee, you're gonna have that, but the quality of life around the lake is pretty bad. A lot of those towns are not very nice. They're very hot in the summer. Solid zone 10 unbuilt. If you want to try, you can try areas between Fort Myers and Naples, like Bonita Springs, San Carlos Park. I mean, it's still somewhat built up, but it isn't like a city. Probably the one place I could think of that that's probably the best place is probably Pine Island. So Pine Island is about 10 miles west of me, and that's a solid zone 10, and it's all agricultural. There's open land. You can get an acre for, I don't know, 60 grand. And I have a lot of friends in the Palm world that actually live in like Tampa or Orlando, and they have a house, or they even just have property in South Naples. Yes, it's going to cost more if you want to go, like, there's some properties out southeast of Naples. You want to be south of 75 for sure. Near 41 in the area. There's an area called Leli. There's some open parcels there. They're going to be expensive though. Naples is very pricey. Collier County in general is a very pricey area to live. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere. There might be some areas like west of Fort Myers. Around here, there really isn't any. There's a lot of open land, but it's all residential zoned. So, have you visited any cool botanical gardens out of the U.S.? No, I've been to Mexico and a lot of the Caribbean, but I haven't been anywhere else that's really that tropical. I haven't flown to Asia. I mean, I've been to Turkey, but I haven't been to. Is Everglades City warm? Yeah, Everglades City I've been to. It's a very cool old Florida town, although it is isolated. So like if you want the conveniences of like say, grocery store that's open late and stuff like that, but it's a close-knit community. It's very swampy, very buggy, and can get very muggy, but it is definitely a solid zone 10. That's definitely a good place to go if you don't mind. You're going to find some isolated communities. The other thing you can do is you can find property on the south side of a lake in the middle of the state. They're pretty good zone 10s. Yeah, you can do that. There's actually a lady 3 blocks away from me that some of my vlogs are filmed there. She and her husband bought the lot next door, and they just planted it all with palms. You can do that. There's nothing against planting the place out. It's not deed restricted. There are some restrictions in Cape Coral, but they're really not that bad. People say they're bad, but I've lived in deed restriction. There's nothing like that. But anyway, I'm gonna have to head out now, guys. Yeah, I'll answer that, Dylan. You can, yeah. There aren't any palms that I'd say like, oh yeah, you can grow this here, but you can't grow it in Miami. There's a few. There's some of the rare palms, but even Fort Myers is a pretty excellent climate. And yeah, Jeff, everyone stay warm and have a good night. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, there's very few plants that just kind of need that extra little kick. You can grow coconuts here, you can grow latanias here. Any land you might get in Miami is going to be in the colder areas anyway. I am often warmer than Homestead is on cold nights because the cold drain there. So unless you want to buy property right in the water, you won't get that special effect. So anyway, with that ending, I will say goodnight to everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.